Hello.
Or, I suppose, hello. Because today we are performing the Saw Trapnalysis. In this stream, I will, at length and in great detail, for several hours, discuss the Saw films and my thoughts thereon. And I will also be playing Dead by Daylight a little bit. um, Specifically, Pig and Tap, the Saw license killers. Um, I feel that I a while ago binged all of the Saw movies, uh, all 7 of the mainline ones and both of the recent ones. Although I guess technically, from a little bit of research that I did today, Jigsaw is a mainline Saw film according to the directors. So I guess all 8 of the mainline ones and also Spiral. Um, but uh, but yeah, I watched them all. I'm gonna stop that now. That's a funny joke, but it's a little bit much. But yeah, I watched all of the uh, mainline Saw films a while ago, and I have a lot to say about them. Uh, and so say things about them I will. Um, Again, at great length for several hours. Uh, this will probably be my longest Twitch stream yet, and I am here for it. If I wasn't here for it, I guess there wouldn't be a stream. Um, but yeah, I got a little bit of practice with Pig here, and I'm still not great at Survivor, and I don't think I've put any blood points into Tap whatsoever. But I've started a little bit on Pig. Uh, um, but yeah, I'm excited. I have a lot to say about the Saw films. I will start by recounting in great detail uh, the plots of all 7 of the mainline films, and then I will say what I have to think about those 7 mainline films, and then I will do the same to Jigsaw and Spiral. But yeah, um, exhausted, skill check. That's good. Yeah, so let's go ahead and queue up for our first match. And I will begin describing the plot of Saw the First, which my lovely girlfriend is currently sitting on the couch watching.
And I just. The thing you were talking about with the key thing,
With the key, yeah,
that happens immediately,
it's the first thing you see.
and it's the worst. It
It's the
doesn't
worst.
make sense.
Does not make sense. And if you look at I will say up front, I don't like nitpicking continuity details in film series because like these films were made over the course of multiple years. Um, but if you think about what they show you in the later Saw films, the beginning of Saw 1 makes no sense. But I will get to that. So, Saw the First. You have Dr. Lawrence Gordon and Adam, he has a last name. Uh, they wake up in a decrepit bathroom. Adam in a bathtub, as he barely catches a glimpse of a glowing key before it slips down the drain. Uh, and Dr. Gordon was already awake by this point, just standing in the dark. Gordon manages to find a light switch and flick it on, and they see that they are in this shitty, decrepit bathroom with a corpse lying in the center of the room, presumably of a suicide victim, judging by the fact that he was holding a gun. The corpse also has a microcassette player. Uh, so, after attempting to calm Adam, Gordon manages to, using his shirt or his shoes, I forget, his shirt, they don't have shoes, he manages to wrangle the microcassette player. Both people have cassette tapes in their pockets, they discover. And the cassette plays a message from a man with a deep, garbled voice that gives them some cryptic clues and instructions on the game that they are currently playing. And for Adam, he just has to break his chains and escape. But for Dr. Gordon, if he does not kill Adam before the clock on the wall runs out, his wife and child will be murdered. So, they squabble for a little while. Eventually, they follow one of the clues. It's follow your heart or something. And they find a pair of hacksaws in a bag in the toilet tank. They try to cut their chains with it, but the saws are not made of a hard enough metal. And then Dr. Gordon realizes that the saws are not meant for their chains, they're meant for their ankles. This is after Adam's saw has already broken. But then, I think it's then, it might have been a little bit before or after this, Dr. Gordon realizes that he knows who has kidnapped them. It is the Jigsaw Killer, a serial killer who puts his victims in traps and has some weird gimmicks, and that's about as much detail as they go into. And we see that he knows this via a flashback, wherein in a previous Jigsaw case, he was a suspect because his pen light was found at the scene. And so detectives Tap and Sing take him in for questioning. He views testimony from one Amanda Young, our pig over here in Dead by Daylight. But eventually his alibi checks out. But we see in Amanda Young's flashback, the jigsaw trap that she was in was the eponymous reverse bear trap. She had to cut open the stomach of somebody else who was in the room with her in order to get the key to get herself out of it. I think while I'm actually doing Dead by Daylight things, I'm going to pause my commentary and pick it back up when I'm finished with the match. This will be something that we will do through the queue times, so that I don't sit there and play Tetris and not talk to you. But yeah, so that's how we're introduced to Amanda Young, who is who I am playing in Dead by Daylight now. 3, 4. Yep. I think I've gone the wrong direction. Surely they'll be working on a generator soon. There we go. Found somebody. Might be worth it to break this pallet. I think I will. Nice job. Dix. Forgot to put a trap on her. Let's drop her right here so we can do that. And let's see if we can get any value from barbecue. We cannot, apparently. I'd like to kick this generator. But they finished a gen over here. So I'm going to come in this direction, and that means that our lovely Claudette's trap is now active. Get somebody with make your choice, so we'll go after them now. I think that's the not Steve, whoever the Steve skin is. She's trying at the jigsaw box. Let's take her. So something that I'm still working to figure out about playing Pig is when you've got somebody trapped and you come across them while they're trying to do a jigsaw box, is it best to try and chase them off of the box and then whoops? Is it best to try and chase them off of the box and then leave them alone for a few? Or is it best to just take them and hook them? Because either way, you're progressing the game. I mean, I guess if you're fishing for trap kills, you're going to want to chase them off without actually downing them. But if you're trying to get the game over with relatively quickly, you're going to want to... Good God. Okay, yeah. I'm lost this match. First match of the day. We're warming up. But yeah, fucking, what was I saying? Because when you're chasing somebody, good lord, when you're chasing somebody, or when they're on a hook, or when they're downed on the ground, the trap timer is not actually progressing. So, if you would like to keep pressure on them to be doing things other than generators, oof, almost. If you would like to keep pressure on them for them to be doing things other than generators, you can chase them off, but if they're on the hook, then they're not doing gens anyway. So ultimately, I think going for downs, as disappointing as it as disappointing as it may be, is what you're going to want to do. Okay, so we found Claudette with that. Little Miss already has a bear trap. I think indoor maps are going to be good for Pig, because it'll be harder to find the boxes. I mean, they can see the auras, but still just navigating to them will be a... Ah, we got her. Yeah, just navigating to them will be a thorn in the side of our survivors. Okay, so we got one kill. We got one guy on the hook, and his friends have yet to come for him, so... Second hook stayed on him, and a second here. First hook on this lady. And then we might be able to find somebody else. Hook. Hook, please. Oh, I'm not going to get this lady to a hook. Oh, wait, no. There's one right here. Oh, he's killing himself on hook. That's unfortunate. But his friend's caught up. And make your choice. is active again. So if I can find Zarina, she's a down. I didn't actually trap either of the people who I knocked down. Something one has to get better at. There we go. Just remembering to trap people, because you should be putting out traps whenever you have the opportunity, in order to keep the game slowed down as much as you can. So, if the final generator gets done, oh, sir, that's not a good place for you to be. Nope. This isn't the one that connects, so. Oof. But yeah, they were kind of in a situation there, because if God, there we go. If he had successfully managed to unhook her, and they had gone and done the final generator, Zarina would have to take her trap off before she could exit. So I was at a 2-kill anyway. Yeah. I like ambush a lot. It's very satisfying. I wonder, will I have time to test this? No, I won't. I have, for purposes of Hillbilly, I have turn left and turn right bound to Q and E. And the turning on that is very tight, like about as tight as I can comfortably flick my mouse. So I wonder what sort of crazy shit I could pull off using that while I'm ambushing. But anyway, where was I? I was in the middle of the plot of Saw 1. So, knowing that they're being recorded, Dr. Gordon does a little fake out. He turns off the lights and whispers to... he found a box with some cigarettes in it. The tape that they found at first explained that the dead guy on the floor has a lot of poison in his blood. So he explains that he's supposed to use the poisoned cigarette to kill Adam. And so he tells Adam to play along. He passes them the unpoisoned cigarette.
Oh hey, wow, that's really cool.
Hmm.
You know, put a man in a saw trap full of razor wire just because he has undiagnosed depression and tried to cut his wrists. Cool,
Yeah.
thank you, Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Asshole. Christ.
There are people who look at these films and genuinely take the line that some of the characters in the films take, that Jigsaw is like kind of an anti-hero, or he's like he's like a weird messiah savior figure and he's super cool.
He's a fucking psychopath.
He is a murderer who has convinced himself, and pretty much only himself, that he is not actually a murderer. But we'll get to that later. I'll try and go fast on the plot synopses, because I was doing a trial run with Sam earlier, and it takes forever just to get through one of the films. So, after faking the murder, Adam is shocked through the chain on his ankle, and and so their ruse is revealed. After a while, the timer ticks down. We see Detective Tapp in the present day, concurrent with the trap. We assume that he's still a detective, but then we see a flashback of his, where it was revealed that he and Singh, after analyzing the tape from Amanda Young's trap, found out where Jigsaw's workshop is. And so they drive there, and and they get Jigsaw. They've got him on his knees and everything, and then Jigsaw pops out a wrist blade like this and slashes Tap's throat, and he runs off. Singh chases after him, trips a tripwire and gets shot. And then Tap becomes obsessed with the Jigsaw case, and he gets removed from the force. And then we exit the flashback, and we see he's like cradling the scar on his neck. And he is in an apartment staking out Gordon's place because he is still convinced that Dr. Gordon is the Jigsaw killer. Nice. Hello, Dan. Type exclamation mark gimmick in the chat to get an explanation on what's going on this stream. But I believe I've told you about it in the past. This is the one where I talk about Saw a lot while I play the Saw killer. But yeah, anyway, so Tap, who is staking out Gordon's apartment, sees the struggle occurring as the timer has ticked down. Gordon has not yet killed Adam, so his wife and child are about to be killed. We've got our fake out Jigsaw killer. Spoiler alert. Our fake out Jigsaw killer, Zepp, is there, and he's holding a gun to Allison and Diana, but then Allison, Gordon's wife, breaks out of her restraints, wrestles him to the ground. She's on the phone with Gordon while this is happening, so Gordon is hearing like gunshots and struggle, and so he thinks that he's just already lost. And he uses the determination from that to saw through his foot. Meanwhile, Tap has run across the street to Gordon's apartment, busted through the door. He gets shot by Zepp, and he dies. Meanwhile, Zepp runs off without actually killing Allison to get to the trap so that he can kill Adam and Gordon because they didn't escape in time. Once he gets there, he is Gordon has thinking that his wife and child are already dead and that he has failed. He pulls the gun and he shoots Adam because there's some drama about how Adam is a photographer who was hired by Jigsaw to take pictures of Gordon cheating on his wife, and a bunch of shit like that. So he shoots Adam, and then Zepp busts in, and Zepp is about to shoot Gordon, but it turns out that Adam survived the gunshot wound, and so he gets up and he takes the lid off the toilet, and bludgeons Zepp to death. And then Gordon gets out his hacksaw, and he saws through his own foot so he can escape the trap. He saws his foot off, and he crawls out the door, leaving Adam alone in there. Until the corpse in the middle of the room, the suicide victim with all the poison in his blood, is revealed to not be a corpse, but in fact an alive, living man, the actual Jigsaw killer. Right before this, Adam discovers a tape on Zepp's body that reveals that Zepp is not the Jigsaw killer, but is actually just another victim. He has a slow-acting poison in his blood, and in order to get the antidote, he had to supervise the trap that Adam and Gordon are in. And so he, the corpse in the middle of the room, stands up, reveals himself as the Jigsaw killer. Gordon grabs the gun off of Adam grabs the gun off of Zepp's body and goes to shoot him, but he gets shocked through the thing on his ankle again, and he misses. And then Jigsaw walks out of the room and he says, "Game over!" and he turns off the lights and slams the door shut. And then they decided, that's really good. We need to end every movie with that happening. Exactly those series of events. And then they did. So anyway, that's the end of Saw 1. So it should be easy to remember to pick up Um, it should be easy to remember that I need to pick up starting at the events of Saw 2 when I have finished with this game, because I need to focus on the game. I can't talk about Saw through the whole thing. But yeah, my overall opinion on Saw 1 is it's one of the better films in the franchise. It's quite good, actually. I like it. Okay, so now we're on Batum, which is not one of my preferred maps. You can if you're not a pussy. Yeah, well, I am, because I am not very good at this game, and I need to focus on it, and somebody is running from me. Hello, friend. I'm having fun here. Let's go. Oof. Alright, man. Let's wrap this one up.
Oh hey, it's the one shot.
The spinny camera with
it's the one spinny cam.
Yeah, that's another thing that they reuse. A lot of things they reuse in the Saw films, and I'll get to talking about that.
Two back to back.
There's tons of spinny camera shots. I'll get to some of my talks about the tropes of the series. Some of my talks about the tropes of the series when I've finished recounting the plot of every film in excruciating detail. Now, I have failed to remember to put a trap on the guy who I just downed. Come on, Nancy. Just vault the pallet. You know you want to vault the pallet. Okay, no. I need to go for our friends. Okay, yeah, no. I've just completely lost all of them. Okay. Downed. Remember to put a trap on her. And I think that trap placement was finished by the time that generator went off, so when she comes off of this hook, her trap should be active. And if it's not, I will be sad. So we're going to stealth around here. Okay, yeah, her trap is active. Ah! You're just gonna play me around this pallet again? Predictable. I was not expecting the flashbang, but I was expecting the fake out. Alright. Let's get you on a hook. I think Fengmin is in this place, checking the jigsaw box up here. But I can't do anything about that because Jake has just made his choice. I'll take Nancy if I can, though. Oh, there's Jake. Hello, Jake. You want to play this palette again? Damn, really? What? He was supposed to be exposed. Oh, wait, fuck. Ambush. Doesn't count as a basic attack, despite the fact that it's just an extended lunge. Ugh. Fuck. Yeah. What? Okay. It's fine. Back here. Okay. Trap on him. Somebody's just failed a skill check, trying to take their trap off. Good to know. I can swing over there and try and interrupt them. Might not even be necessary, but I can try it.
That was very smart.
Huh?
One of the first times that there's like significant tension between Adam and the Doctor, he grabs a piece of broken glass and says, "Tell me shit or I'll cut you with this piece of glass." Paraphrasing, obviously.
Yeah.
While they're still fucking
Chained
chained to opposite corners
Opposite sides of the room, yeah.
What?
It's a life or death situation, you know? It's a tense time. You're maybe not thinking the best you've ever thought. Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah. Okay. So, thing that is good about Pig, that I was briefly explaining earlier, is that I've put the enemy team in a very... The enemy team... What am I talking about? I've put the survivors in a very specific sort of situation here. In that... there we go. There's only so much they can do. Damn. Two of them have traps on.
I do actually appreciate that line.
What line?
It's the most fun I've had without lubricant.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it is a funny movie at times. So the situation these two gals are in. Their friends can decide to power that last generator, which it looks like they're doing. If that happens, oh, nice. DS. Okay, yeah, go get your friend off a hook. Doesn't matter. If this generator pops, those two girls' traps become active. Like that. Now the exit gates are openable, but those two girls can't leave. As long as their traps are active, those two girls can't leave. So they have to unlock their traps at some point. Do they know? Oh, Yui already got her trap off. Yeah, that's good. Okay. You three can go. We'll just take your one teammate. She's got to be busy with something. Oh, hatch. Duh. They can still escape through the hatch. They just can't leave through the exit gates. It's a damn shame. GG's. Uh, yeah. Anyhow, Saw 2. Uh, so at the beginning of Saw 2, we find a SWAT team doing a raid on a building that is believed to be owned by the Jigsaw Killer. They get in there, and sure enough, there is John Kramer, Mr. Jigsaw himself. Um, he's sitting at a desk, uh, in a wheelchair, with an IV on him. He's an old man, and he has brain cancer. Uh, and the detective that busts in, one of the first things we see is this detective arguing with his kid, because he and his wife are divorced, and the kid's kind of a delinquent, and he's a cop, and he's a piece of shit. Um, that's redundant, but yeah. Um, and so we find out that his kid, as well as a couple other people, I think 4 other people, are in a jigsaw trap right now. And Jigsaw, in response to the police who are currently raiding his place, says to the detective guy, all you have to do is sit down and talk with me for a little while. Be peaceful with me, and you will find your son in a safe and secure location. I promise. Uh, and so he and Jigsaw sit down and they have some conversation about, you know, sounds like kind of a shitty old man, weak ass. I could take him. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll get there when we get there. Um, so, like I said, I'm gonna try and speed through these because I can sit here and explain the plot in excruciating detail for an hour for each film. Um, so he talks with the guy. They sit down and they talk for a little while. He plants a walkie-talkie nearby so his friends can listen in on the conversation, and they're watching on these monitors as the trap that the guy's son is in plays out. And the trap there is thus: all of the people in that house are breathing in a neurotoxin gas. The film actually specifies it's the same gas that was used in the real-life Tokyo subway attacks, um, which is it was topical at the time that the movie was released. Uh, and so they fucking they have to find the antidote to this toxin. They're spread out around. Everybody has their own trap in which they can grab several pieces of antidote. And we see Amanda is in this trap, the lady who survived a trap in the first movie. Maybe there's some sort of spoiler alert here, given that she is the killer that we're playing in Dead by Daylight right now. But as of right now, in the canon of the films, you don't know that she's working with Jigsaw. Wonderful. But yeah, so Amanda is in there, a couple other people who were brought up on various criminal charges. Over the course of the film, we find out that the common thread between them is that they were all convicted of the crimes that they may or may not have actually committed by planted evidence and false confessions from the kid's dad, the kid's detective father. Eventually, one of the criminal dudes, he just sort of snaps. He knows that the safe in the first room has a dose of the antidote, and he's gonna get it. And he needs numbers that are tattooed on the back of everybody's necks in order to get it. And so he starts chasing people down with knives and trying to kill them. Eventually, it's just Amanda, the kid, and that guy left, and they make their way through the winding corridors of the house into the bathroom from the first Saw movie. Note that, as we will learn in the later Saw movies, that means that this house, this like large suburban, maybe duplex house, is in the basement of Gideon Meatpacking Plant. But so they go and they wind up in the basement. There's a confrontation. The guy dies of neurotoxin. Amanda helps the detective's kid into the thing. Meanwhile, as all of this is happening back in Jigsaw's workshop, the shitty detective who planted evidence on people gets impatient, and so he starts beating the shit out of Jigsaw. This old man with brain cancer. He just lifts him up out of his wheelchair and throws him against a cabinet. He just starts beating the shit out of the guy. And he forces Jigsaw to drive him to the place where the trap is. And so Jigsaw takes him to Gideon Meatpacking Plant. And the SWAT team follows them out and goes to Gideon Meatpacking Plant on a separate route as well. And so they both arrive and they find that the trap is not currently happening. The trap is not currently happening because everything we saw was pre-recorded. Back in Jigsaw's office, we see the timer on the wall ticks down to 0, and the safe next to his desk opens. And the kid is in there, the detective's kid. So Jigsaw was telling the truth. If the detective had just sat there and talked to him for a while, he would have found his kid in a safe location. Yeah. Funny joke. And then... So Jigsaw leads the guy down into the Saw basement, into the Saw 1 bathroom, because that was where the kid was last seen, and Amanda jumps out of the tub and drugs him and locks him in the bathroom in there. And we'll get back to his plot line in a future movie, because that's where it ends. And I mean, she does say game over, and she closes the door on him, and we see some flashbacks before that of her collaborating with Jigsaw on the previous traps, including the trap in Saw 1. And that's where the logic break from the beginning of Saw 1 works, because we see her lowering Adam into the bathtub and throwing the key onto him. At the beginning of Saw 1, we see that key goes down the drain. Adam wakes up, and Dr. Gordon tells him, like, stop shouting, it's not going to do anything. I've already been awake and shouting for a while. So either Adam can hold his breath while he's unconscious very well, or they just weren't considering that one tiny continuity problem in a film that they made a year later. Who knows which of those things is more likely? Yeah, like I said, I don't like nitpicking continuity things in film franchises. It's just not meaningful as a form of criticism. But I need to stop talking about Saw and start thinking about Dead by Daylight. But yeah, that's the plot of Saw 2. How about that? It took us two... good lord. Did I just skip that one? It took us two games worth of queue time to discuss the plot of Saw 1, and I managed to get it down to 1 for Saw 2. Who knows how we'll do on Saw 3. Over here. Oof. Okay. Yeah, so we've got two identically dressed Nias who I think may or may not be communicating with one another. Just judging by sort of the bullshit that they're pulling on me right now. I'm not in the mood. Oh, another fun fact. In the first film, as Adam and Gordon slowly remember what happened to them before they got captured by Jigsaw. we see that they were both captured by a figure wearing a pig mask. And in the scenes where the pig-masked figure attacks them, we hear this, like, roaring noise. We hear this roaring noise, and it's the same roaring noise that, it's the same roaring noise that we hear, when Pig in Dead by Daylight does her ambush attack, and I don't know whether this was intentional on the part of the filmmakers, but it is also the same roaring noise that we hear in the flashback where we see Amanda in her trap, and in Saw 2 it's revealed that the pig mask wearing figure is in fact Amanda. So that's pretty cool. So I don't know whether that was intentional, but it's neat. Okay. So, one of our Nia friends has removed her trap. Let's get a bear trap on this person. Saw as an old man with brain cancer and a furry? Yeah, pretty much. More or less. So thanks to barbecue. I saw. No, I'm too late. Dicks. Dicks. That was also incorrect. Thinking too much about Saw. Not doing too well at the game. Fuck. This is embarrassing. The thing with all of the pig stuff in Saw, pigs make up a lot of important parts of the, balanced landing, okay. Pigs make up a lot of the important, iconography and such in the Saw franchise. And there is actually plot reasons for it. Mr. Jonathan Kramer is he's big into the Chinese zodiac, and the year of the pig sort of symbolizes rebirth and everything, and he planned a lot of stuff really specifically, such that his son would be born in the year of the pig, and then all of that kind of fell through the cracks for plot reasons that we will describe later. And so now he sees the pig as an animal and as a symbol in the Chinese zodiac as being very much about dirt and grime and death and shit like that. And so he winds up sort of taking on the pig as a symbol for a lot of things in his traps. I don't know who you figured you were saving by doing that. Now you're just both going on hooks. But, yeah. Pig in Dead by Daylight. Considered one of the weaker killers, and it's true. She's got a little bit of everything, but not much of it is strong. Like, she's got stealth, but it's difficult to use properly. No, I guess strong. Her power is useful in chases, sometimes, but not so useful in chases a lot of the time. Um, and the one thing that she does have a lot of is game slowing potential in the form of the reverse bear traps. They're getting too cocky. They're getting too cocky. I pulled a 3-kill out of this. A 3-kill if I can stop them from rescuing their friend here, which I don't think I can, actually. Yeah. You do that. So a 2-kill, but still. Pros, girl boss. This is true. Uh, anyway, Saw 3. It should be noted I do have the Wikipedia page that lists all of the Saw movies pulled up, so that if I do need a refresher on which film is which, because I kind of do sometimes, I can just look at the list. But Saw 3 is the last good Saw movie. The rest of them kind of suck. Saw 6 is Saw 6 is the exception to that rule. I think Saw 6 is pretty alright. So what happens in Saw 3? In Saw 3, we see a guy whose kid was killed in a car crash. And so he's been planning to murder the guy the drunk driver who hit him, because the driver got away with it with a relatively light sentence. And so he's been like, oh, if I see that guy again, I'm legitimately going to kill him. Like, we see him practicing the monologue that he's going to say in the mirror with a gun and everything. Yeah. So he's like, oh, I'm going to... Saw 6? More like Saw 6. Yeah. Good. What was I saying? Yeah, so we see him like monologuing. We see him yelling at his daughter for messing with her dead brother's toys because he's very anal about them. And then I'm gonna use the combat straps actually. He things. I'm already losing my mind a little bit from talking about Saw like this. So he gets put in a Saw trap to try and learn how to forgive people. That's the game that he's playing. He has to learn how to forgive people. And so first up is the lady who witnessed the crime but didn't want to testify in court. She's tied up naked in a freezer with water getting sprayed on her. He has to get the key out from behind a rack of freezing cold pipes in order to get her out of the trap. She convinces him to actually do it. He's very reticent at first because he's upset with her. But he manages to get the key too late. When he turns around, she's already like completely frozen.
What?
What's happening in the film?
It's the part where Cap and Sing raid Jigsaw's thing is his place of existence.
Yeah.
um, after Jigsaw slashes Tap's throat and runs away, Singh takes the shotgun, runs after him. He gets to a landing in a stairwell, and then racks the shotgun. He racked the shotgun at the beginning of the thing.
He's nervous.
He's already.
He wasted some
Bruh.
ammo. He wasted some ammo.
The shotgun was never fired. I'm sorry. I'm too much of a gun nerd to suspend my disbelief or whatever the hell. It's just. This is the kind of pedantry that it cannot stand.
Yeah. Anyhow, so Saw 3. First up was the lady who didn't testify in court, and he doesn't get her out in time. Second up is the judge who sentenced the drunk driver so lightly. Also, in the hallway between Trap 1 and Trap 2, he gets like a picture of he gets like a picture of his child in a box with something written on it. And then Trap 2 is the lawyer. He is in a big vat, and rotting pig carcasses are being carted into a meat grinder and filling that vat up with gross rotting pig juice. And so the guy has to turn on an incinerator in order to burn his dead kid's toys that he's so anal about in order to get the key to get the judge out. He manages to get this one in time. And so he and the judge proceed on to the third trap, where it's the drunk driver himself. Also, in the hallway between second trap and third trap, he gets a singular bullet. And so they proceed on to the last one. It's the drunk driver himself. He's in a device called the rack, which will slowly twist off all of his limbs and then twist off his head. And the guy has to pull a key out of a box with a shotgun in it. If you pull on the key, it pulls on the trigger to the shotgun. What he winds up doing is taking off his shirt and he winds up taking off his shirt and tying it around the key and then ducking down and pulling it. But the judge, who is not paying attention to the whole situation and is trying to comfort the drunk driver while he's getting his limbs twisted off, is standing in the way, and so he gets shot in the head by the shotgun. And some other stuff happens I'll explain after this match. Oh, Lord. Pal? No, he doesn't want to. Maybe I can explain a little bit in the process of the match. I've explained the A plot of the film as I consider it, the B plot, which ties it into the events of the other movies. Well, no. I've described the first half of the A plot. Second half of the A plot is Amanda Young, on orders from Jigsaw, kidnaps a doctor, Lynn Denlin, from the hospital where Dr. Gordon worked. kidnaps her from the thing and does a thing. Oof. She gets a collar around her neck that will explodificate her brain and skull and head if Jigsaw's heart rate monitor flatlines, because keep in mind, Jigsaw is dying of brain cancer. But yeah, Jigsaw's dying of brain cancer. And so they kidnap the doctor to come in there and treat him for his brain cancer, or the symptoms thereof, at least. And if Jigsaw's heart rate monitor flatlines, she will die if she runs away. The collar goes off and she dies. And so she has to... I know you mean the old man, but I keep picturing the puppet in a hospital. Billy the Puppet makes surprisingly few appearances. In person. You see him on the videotapes a lot. He does not appear in person that much. Go around. Vault? No, doesn't want to. Unless he does now. You only see him in person 3 or 4 times, maybe? There we go. Good. Yeah. Good. So what's the, So yeah, they kidnap the doctor. Dr. Denlin. Oh, shit. Adam got his trap off. Nope. You'll take my last trap. But yeah. So they kidnap the doctor. She performs some... well, her and Amanda are sort of at tensions for a little while. Because Amanda doesn't really trust her to be doing surgery on Jigsaw. So she's like... sort of... She threatens her with a gun, with an axe. She's like, oh, you've got to do a surgery on my cult leader. Good. Yeah, and so she does some sort of hardware store brain surgery with like a Dremel tool and a bunch of little other pieces of shit that should not be used in a surgical context. But she manages to do it. She cuts out a section of Jigsaw's skull to relieve pressure on his brain. You're all 3 trapped. Let me stealth up here. So the thing with...
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry for interrupting.
You're alright?
I've encountered the biggest piece of bullshit in this film of all time.
Mm-hmm.
When Dr. Gordon figures out that Adam has something and he wants him to toss over the picture that he kept, he throws that thing first try, perfectly. It doesn't fly like fucking everywhere except where he
Yeah,
wants it to.
it's a
It's
piece
a
of
piece of
it's a
paper.
piece of paper. It should flop around a little bit. Yeah. um,
Unrealistic. Garbage, garbage movie.
garbage. Yeah. Um, um, I'm having some fun here. I'll leave you alone. But yeah, so Lynn Denlin succeeds at the brain surgery, and it's a relief because it means that her collar's not going to explode. Um, um, she doesn't have enough time. No, I'm not chasing you. I'm not resetting your timer. You're just gonna go. He gets a second shot. I have put them in a way here. There we go. Yeah. All right. Yeah. There we go. Anyway, so yeah, Dr. Denlin is in the thing and the whatever. And the B plot of this film. I consider the things that link the movies together to be the B plot because it's way less important than the A plot, which is what cool traps do we get to see. The B plot in this film is the detectives find a series of traps that don't really match Jigsaw's MO, in that the people involved didn't really get a chance to escape. They find one guy who's trapped in a room with a bomb. He's got a bunch of hooks through his skin. He has to pull out the hooks in order to escape the room before the bomb goes off, but the door was welded shut. So even if he had succeeded, he wouldn't have been able to do it. And they also find the partner of new important character, Detective Hoffman. They find the partner of Detective Hoffman in a trap. She managed to get the key out of the jar of sulfuric acid and use it to try and unlock her thing. But she didn't get out of the trap. She got the key. She used the key. She still died to the trap. And she's like 3 feet in the air, like suspended off of the ground in this trap. So the detectives who are there are convinced, including Detective Hoffman and Riggs, the SWAT guy from the first film, who are they're convinced that there is a new Jigsaw accomplice because Jigsaw is an old man with brain cancer and Amanda is a tiny, frail woman. So neither of them could lift her up and put her up on the trap like that. And so they're convinced that there is a third Jigsaw accomplice. Detective Hoffman starts becoming suspicious of Riggs. That's most of the B plot. Back to the A plot. What am I going to use here? Sure. But yeah, back to the A plot. The guy gets through the trap, and his final destination is the office where Jigsaw is having just been brain surgeryed on, and Amanda is, and the doctor is. Amanda is arguing with the doctor and with Jigsaw. She's pointing a gun at everybody. She shoots the doctor lady in the stomach. She stumbles out the door into the arms of the guy from the trap, her ex-husband, who barges into the room and uses the gun that he's been given and the one bullet that he was given to shoot Amanda. It is here that Jigsaw explains what Amanda's trap is. The game that Amanda was playing. The kidnapped doctor was not there for any reason of her own. She was there to test Amanda. Jigsaw does not want his work to be carried on by a murderer, despite the fact that he is one. And so he wanted to see if he could rehabilitate Amanda into being easier, because it's revealed that she designed the traps that the people had no chance of escaping, and she also tried to kill the detective guy from Saw 2. We see a flashback. He's alive. He tried to escape. He got into a fight with Amanda. Amanda tried to kill him. Kramer stopped her and put him in a prison cell. Good. The plots of these films are so convoluted. Yeah, so Amanda dies because she failed her test, and John offers one final test to the guy with the dead son. He says, your whole thing was that you needed to learn how to forgive people. So you have two choices. You can forgive me and walk out of here, and I'll call an ambulance for your wife, and you two will make it out okay. Or you can kill me, and something will happen. And he doesn't explain what that something is. And so the guy he sort of goes back and forth for a minute, and then he grabs a big circular saw, and he cuts through Jigsaw's throat. He kills Jigsaw. Keep in mind, the original Jigsaw killer dies in the third film. There are 6 more movies. So he kills Jigsaw with the circular saw, and then because Jigsaw's heart rate monitor stops, the collar around his wife's neck goes off, and she dies. And then he gets locked in the room, the lights turn off, and he finds a tape, and he plays it, and he says that he's got one more test to try and rescue his daughter. Meanwhile, Hoffman is there. Back to the B plot. Hoffman is there along with another detective, Detective Strom from the FBI. And Strom's partner from the FBI is also there. I forget her name. Perez. Her name is Detective Perez. And so they're going through, and wait, no. This is in the next movie, because it's revealed that the next movie happens concurrently with this one, because they like plot twists that revolve entirely around them not telling you when things are happening in relation to one another. So that's in the next film. So the plot of Saw 4. Riggs, the SWAT guy from 2 and 3, gets attacked by Jigsaw. He gets put in his own series of traps. Yeah, he gets put in his own series of traps for being so obsessed with saving people. That's the reason that he's being trapped, is because he's obsessed with saving people. And so he has to go through and... well, I should say, the scene opens with Jigsaw's autopsy. They find a tape in his stomach, a wax-coated tape. They play it, and it's for Detective Hoffman. It describes to him that he's about to be tested. This is important. So Rigg gets put through this whole thing where he has to Jigsaw trap a couple of people. Well, he tries to save one girl from a Jigsaw trap, and then she tries to kill him, because that was her part of the trap, was a guy is going to come in here and rescue you. If he succeeds, you have to kill him. And then he gets put in a second one where he puts a serial rapist in a Jigsaw trap, and then he gets sent to the final area where we see Hoffman is tied to a chair on a big seesaw. Across from him is the detective guy, Riggs' partner, the shitty dad who planted evidence on people. He is in a trap as well. On the seesaw across from him, standing on a big block of ice, noose around his neck. If he falls off of the block of ice, the seesaw tilts, and water starts pouring down onto Hoffman's side, and it electrocutes him. And now I will focus on the game, and I'll talk more about things later. The plots of these films are so convoluted, man. I say 3 is the last good one, mostly because it's the last one that, like, makes sense. And then 6 is sort of a very self-contained story. In that the B plot is not ultimately related, like, at all to the A plot. And that's why that's the exception to the rule. Oof. Oh. I hope that once I have completed this Herculean task that I have set before myself, that that I will be able to rest easy, knowing that I no longer have to think about Saw ever again. That is until Saw 9/Saw 10 gets released, whatever it's called. But yeah. Because thinking about Saw, as much as I frequently do, and as often as I do, does kind of destroy my brain. So I hope that once this stream is over, I can be healed. Oh, hey, Bill. I'll pause your timer for a little bit. Get you up on a hook. Lord. Okay. Run. Goodness. Oh, I'm losing my mind. The fact that I am not perfectly describing the plots of each Saw film in just 100% accurate detail with no mistakes whatsoever is not intentional, but emblematic of what I am trying to convey here. And that is that there are parts of the Saw films that are important, and then there's the plot. And those are two entirely separate categories. There are also parts of the Saw films that are well made, and then there's the plot. And those are also two separate categories. Good lord, what am I even saying? Thinking about? Damn. Really going for the hook sabotages here. I'm glad I brought the thing that lets me know when people are going for hook sabotages. But yeah. Respect the pallet. Come around here. She comes back. I should have waited a little bit longer. Vault. Vault back. Okay, Bill got his trap off. It's good to know. DS. Neat. Anyway, can I describe more of the plot of this film while also trying to focus on the game? I'll give it an earnest attempt. So... There he is. Use my last trap on you. Meg got out of hers. Okay. Fuck, where even was I? Saw 4. Riggs has to do his whole thing. With trapping a couple of people. Fuck it. I'm not even giving detailed rundowns. Footnotes version. It turns out that Riggs's whole thing was a ploy by Hoffman, who has also been working with Jigsaw since he killed the guy who murdered his sister and got away with it and tried to make it look like a Jigsaw trap. Jigsaw blackmailed him into working for him. Oof. Pallet. Pallet's over there. I'm dumb. But yeah. So Hoffman has been working with Jigsaw this whole time also. And Hoffman tries to deflect blame off on Strom. So Hoffman and Strom, they're investigating a couple of other traps that I'm not going to go into detail on until maybe later when I feel like it. A couple of the traps that Briggs has been forced to do. Perez gets injured. Hoffman and Strom are both told that she's dead. This is actually a lie. We learn this in a later film. Then Hoffman tries to frame Strom. He puts Strom in a trap. Well, he tries to... Okay, so there's a thing with these films where you just sort of have to assume that Jigsaw and his various accomplices are just mind readers. Like, that's a common thread, is that you have to assume that they just know exactly what is going to happen. And so he puts a box in front of Strom. It's like a glass coffin, and it's full of broken glass. And he says... He puts a tape recorder in there, and the tape recorder says, like... Strom, you have to trust me, it's Hoffman. You have to get into the box if you want to live. Because you were right, I am the Jigsaw killer. And Strom just, like, stops playing the tape and waits to ambush Hoffman when Hoffman follows him in. It is revealed that all of this is taking place concurrently with Saw 3. You may be saying, hey, if Hoffman was getting tested, how is all of this happening in concurrence with Saw 3? Well, it turns out that it is after all of this that Jigsaw's autopsy happens, or maybe that's the previous film that I'm thinking of. It's so fucking hard to tell. And so, good things happen. Plot occurs. Strom pushes Hoffman into the box. Hoffman plays the rest of the tape that Strom didn't want to listen to, and it says, if you fail to get in the box, the walls of this room will crush you, and I will plant a bunch of evidence that makes it look like you were the Jigsaw killer. And then the walls of the room crush him, and Hoffman plants a bunch of evidence that makes it look like he's the Jigsaw killer. This is where the films really start going downhill. Saw 5. So you've got 5 people in a trap. This one is actually interesting. It's just not done well. You've got 5 people in a trap. They see a Jigsaw tape that says, the 5 of you will become one. You're going to have to... Your instincts are going to tell you to do one thing. You're going to have to do the exact opposite. And... etc. Right? You know, stuff, things. Stuff and things. And so they go through the first trap, and it's... Oh yeah, also Jigsaw's ex-wife is a character. And yet another case of has secretly been working with Jigsaw the whole time sort of situation. Yeah. And she's in some of these films. Frankly, I don't care anymore. I do not care. So, there are 5 people in a trap. They have to realize the ways in which they are all connected. The first trap is their saws against the wall. They have collars on that are going to pull them against the wall into the saws and decapitate them unless they can all walk across the room and get the keys. But the cables between their collars are all linked, so only one person can walk forward at a time. And of course, they bicker and squabble, and they don't get it. 4 of them get their collars off, 1 of them dies. And then they proceed into the next room, the 4 of them who are left, and there are bombs in this room which will go off. You have to get the keys to the 3 safe spaces in the wall, but there are only 3 of them. And so they bicker and they squabble, and they decide to leave this one asshole out in the thing to die from the bombs while the other 3 of them get in the thing. And then they get in the next room, the 3 of them, and they're like, you have to complete this circuit in order to exit the thing. But if you don't complete it in time, the thing will break, and it's a strong enough circuit that it'll kill you. And so they kill the 2 people who are left. One of them kills one of the other people. There are 3 people left. One of those people kills another one of the people, so now there are only 2 people left. They lower the person who they killed into the bathtub, connect all of the circuits to her, door opens, they leave. And then they get into the final room. In order to open the final door, they have to fill a jar with 10 pints of blood. The Meg from the last match? Well, hello, and welcome to the stream. GG to you as well. I'm still learning how to properly utilize Pig. Also, you can type !gimmick if you want to figure out what the gimmick from this stream is. But yeah, good match.
If we're still talking about the Saw movies, can I take a moment?
You can.
Near the end of the first one, when former Detective Tapp, breaks into Dr. Gordon's house where the wife and daughter are being held by, is that
Yeah.
the orderly of the hospital?
Uh-huh.
Um, the gun that he has is a Beretta 92 FX. I'm a
Correct.
gun nerd.
Uh-huh.
Um, this gun holds 15 to 16 rounds. I can't remember exactly. But in this movie, he must have not filled the magazine up very high because he fires like 4 shots and it's empty.
Huh. Interesting.
It's dumb and bad, and I hate this movie. It's terrible.
Aw. This is the sort of gun pedantry that I keep you around for.
I'm so glad.
um. Anyway, fuck. What was I talking about? I was talking about Saw 5, I think, or maybe Saw 6. Shit. Okay, yeah. I was talking about Saw 5. Um they finish the electricity puzzle, right? And they get in the last thing. They have to fill a beaker with 10 pints of blood in order to open the door. The human body has 10 pints of blood in it. So if only one of them was left, they wouldn't have been able to finish this one. There are 2 of them left, so they can barely do it. But this is when they realize that in each one of these traps, there was a way for all 5 people to make it through. In the first trap, one key would have unlocked all of the collars. So one person could have walked up, got the key, unlocked their collar, and handed it to the next person. In the second room, the safe spaces in the walls were big enough for more than one person. So the fact that there were only 3 keys for 3 safe spaces did not matter. And in the next room, if all 5 of them were there, they could have gotten small electric shocks, each of them by holding one end of the cable and putting one foot into the bathtub in the center. I don't know how true that is, but that's what they say. And that's how they could have made it through. And then each person would have only had to get a small cut in order to fill the beaker with enough blood. But since there's 2 of them, they do the thing, whatever. Hoffman does some stuff and manages to... No, Jigsaw's ex-wife, who is revealed to also be helping with a lot of Jigsaw's stuff through most of the films, pulls some bullshit and puts Hoffman in a reverse bear trap, but he manages to escape it. It tears open his cheek. And then some other stuff happens, and then that's the end of Saw 5. And in Saw 6, Hoffman... Wait. No, I missed out on talking about a really cool scene, actually. So Hoffman has been doing, Jigsaw killer bullshit. He's been being the Jigsaw killer. Yeah, just go ahead and take a pallet. Nope, wrong guess. Okay, I'll break it. You can run along now. Yeah. And so Hoffman has been working with the FBI agents that Strom used to be a team member with, and he's been trying to convince them that Strom was actually the Jigsaw killer. And so there's a bunch of scenes where they're like, we're investigating this new set of Jigsaw traps so that we can find out who the hidden third Jigsaw accomplice was. And he's like, so you can find out that it was Strom. And they're like, so that we can find out whoever it was. And he's like, Strom. And they're like, yeah, sure. Like, they're starting to get real suspicious of him. Fuck, I'm lost. I don't play on Temple of Purgation that often. Anyway, so they wind up calling him back to the thing because they've just gotten one of their tech people to start like to start decoding a tape from one of the Jigsaw scenes to sort of like remove the voice modulation that's on it and reveal whose voice it actually is. And we all, the audience, all know that it's Hoffman's voice. And so there's this looping audio clip playing in the background of the line, right now you're feeling very helpless. as Hoffman is in the room with a bunch of people who are about to find out that he's actually the Jigsaw killer. And he's, you know, sort of, he's getting nervous as they get closer to removing the thing. Nice teabag, by the by. Real cool, real fun. So he's getting nervous as they're doing all of this. And they're slowly decoding the thing. And then when they finish the decoding and they can hear that it's Hoffman's voice, he just goes fucking ham and he kills like 5 or 6 people so that he can escape the police station. Anyway, later in the film, he comes back to the police station and he chases down Jigsaw's ex-wife because she knows that he's the Jigsaw killer as well, and she's been feeding the FBI agents information about it. So he's trying to kill her. Her last trap that she was supposed to set up was to kill him. So they're both trying to kill each other. Eventually, she winds up getting him in a modified reverse bear trap and snapping him open. But he manages to escape the reverse bear trap with only a big tear on one side of his cheek. And that brings us to Saw 6. So in Saw 6, Hoffman is on the run. There's a bunch of traps. They're all kind of shitty. And I'll be honest with you. Oh wait, no. Saw 6 is the actually good one. I'm thinking of Saw 7. Get out of here. So yeah, in Saw 6, there's a... Yeah, no, I was just describing the end of Saw 5, and in Saw 6... No, I was just describing the end of the A-plot of Saw 7. You see, this is the thing. This is one of the many reasons that all of these films are so hard to follow, is that every Saw film has like 2 or 3 concurrent plot lines. And they're all very generic. But you wind up with the things happening. Detective Hoffman, the thing with his cheek, that's the end of the previous one, I think. Or the end of the one that I'm about to describe. I don't fucking know. I do not fucking know. Maybe after this match I'll pop open those wiki pages that I have queued up and see if I can glean any info from there. Good lord, my throat. Oh, I need some water. But, so, there's a health insurance agent, right? Like, he runs a health insurance company, and he's got this algorithm that just sort of automatically decides whether a certain person is worth it for the insurance company to try and cover or not. This guy was the man who was responsible for the original Jigsaw Killer, John Kramer, not being able to get coverage for a cancer treatment that could have saved his life. Good. I heard you. Yeah. Nope. She faked me out. But yeah, so he gets kidnapped, he gets put in a trap. Where basically his whole thing is that since his day job is deciding who lives or dies by deciding whether or not they get health insurance coverage, he gets to decide whether all the people in the trap live or die. He has to kill one, and he has to save the other. Several times. The first one is him versus the janitor in his building. He can either sacrifice himself to save the janitor or let the janitor die. Although that one is kind of a game of chance. It's a perfectly healthy man versus an older man with shitty lungs in a contest of who can hold their breath the longest. So it's kind of predetermined how that one's going to go. Should have broken this pallet forever ago. I'm going to take care of it now. But yeah, and then there's another one where it's like a carousel with a bunch of his employees on it. He can save 2 of them. The other ones are going to die. And so he's... by the end of it, he's just fucking broken. And at the end, he gets reunited with his wife, who's a journalist who has been pestering Jigsaw's ex-wife about things. The family of a man who he denied coverage to, and the family have to decide whether he lives or dies. His life is put in their hands. Ultimately, the teenage son of the guy is impulsive and decides to kill him. And that one's cool. That one's the exception to the rule that all of the movies after 3 are bad. And then there's 7. And 7 is interesting, but it's not done very well. So I don't consider it to be an exception to the rule. So 7 revolves around a man by the name of Bobby Dagan, who has made a fortune with books and TV appearances claiming that he survived a jigsaw trap. This is false. He did no such thing. And so he gets put in a jigsaw trap. And it's... it's him trying to save all of his publicists who have helped him with all the, pretending to have survived a jigsaw trap stuff. And then he's supposed to, at the end, he has to perform the jigsaw trap that he claimed he had actually been through in the book that he wrote in order to save his wife, who he's been lying to this whole time. She doesn't know that he's never actually been in a trap. And so it's actually really cool. I like 7. It's just not as good as the first 3. Go. Leave ye. Yeah. And by this point, the plots are so fucking generic, I could not tell you what else happens in this movie. I think... I remember the ending. Hoffman puts Jill Tuck, Jigsaw's ex-wife. Hoffman puts her in the original reverse bear trap, and she dies. And then while Hoffman is trying to escape, he gets gotten by a group of people all wearing pig masks, and it's revealed that Dr. Gordon from the first film, reprised by Carrie Ewells, and this is the first film that Carrie Ewells has been in since Saw 1. The first Saw film, anyway. They couldn't get him back for any of the other ones. They only got him back for this one. It's revealed that he also has been helping Jigsaw since the events of the first movie. He's been helping him with the medical things, like sewing people's eyes and mouths shut and surgically implanting keys in people, like how he's been doing through all of the films. And then on that cliffhanger, nothing happens for like 7 years, I think. Hang on, let me check the release dates. Yeah, 7 years until the next Saw movie, and it's not even about that plot twist. Ugh. So, that has been the plot of all of the mainline Saw films, except for Jigsaw, because I don't consider it a mainline Saw film. I will now take a very big drink of water, take a small break, and I will come back and continue playing Dead by Daylight and talking about the Saw films. One moment.
I am going to say very quickly,
Uh-huh.
I'm so glad that you enjoyed that.
You
I
didn't...
imagine it would have been more impactful if I didn't know what you had told me. I still didn't like it. Too much, like, rapid flashbacking, like flashing
Yeah.
screen. It's awful.
Yeah,
It's so bad.
I'll be discussing the problems that I have with the
Ugh.
franchise as a whole when I get back, but I think that 1, 2, and 3 are well done enough that I will consider them good films. I return. I forgot to put on music for y'all. I'm so sorry. Um, anyway, so that has been a rough synopsis. Oh, wait, shit. Gotta kick it back over to the game stream. Whoop. Rough synopsis of the events of all of the Saw movies. Very, very rough synopsis. So what do I think about all of the Saw movies? Well, I've got some problems. Naturally. I've got some problems, but I do have a few things that I think they genuinely do really well. Most of them, anyway. Chiefly, if you're into practical effects and props, which I am, I adore a well-made prop. I adore a good practical gore effect. Many of the Saw movies are really good about that. 6 and 7 lean on the CGI, and it's not so good. Especially 7, because its whole marketing thing was that it was like 3D. And good. Tampered timer. Nice. Yeah, so what was I saying? There are things. Oh, the microphone isn't even pointed at me. I should have checked that. Let's get that fixed. So there are things that I think the movie does well, namely practical effects and props. Like the original reverse bear trap that you see in the first film, coolest fucking film prop I have ever seen. It looks so good. Things that I think the films do bad. Writing, and past the first 3, making interesting, engaging plots. CG. Whenever they bust out the CG blood splatters, it always looks like ass. Sort of at a certain point, they had become like the highest grossing horror franchise in the history of the Guinness Book of World Records. And so they were like, okay, we need to lean on the gore and we need to lean on the twist because there needs to be a twist. So this is where I will get into sort of the meta-analysis. In Saw 1, there is the twist. The twist being the corpse in the bathroom is actually the Jigsaw killer. He wasn't dead at all. And every film after that, they felt the need to top themselves. They felt the need to do something completely out there, something wild that will, shock the audiences, make people say, oh, you gotta go and see it in theaters, man. And the thing that they choose to do this with is most often surprise. This character that we introduced a while ago has actually been working for Jigsaw the whole time. They do that with Amanda, they do that with Hoffman, they do that with Jill. And the other, the twist that they frequently turn to is, surprise, we were vague about this person and how they relate to the other characters that you're seeing, and the relationship that you thought that they had isn't. So, like, in Saw 3, before they kidnap Dr. Denlin, you see her, like, in bed with a guy, and they're arguing, and the guy's like, oh, I want a divorce, and she storms out the door so she can go to work at the hospital. And so, when she's kidnapped by Jigsaw, he's like, oh, you have to play along and do the thing, otherwise, because you don't appreciate life, because something, your husband. And then at the end of the film, it's revealed that the husband that he was talking about was the guy who's going through the main trap with the dead kid, because we also learned that he divorced his wife. and they reveal that at the end. And in Saw 6, they're like, oh, if you want to see your family again. And we see the two people in the thing, and we also see the reporter lady in the thing. And the two people who are in the thing were like, oh, that's his family. But it's actually the family of the person he denies coverage to at the beginning of the film. Turns out that was several months prior. That guy has died from his heart condition or whatever, and so they're upset at him. The reporter lady is his sister. That's the family that he meant. They do that a lot. They also, because the film's past three are about Jigsaw's legacy, and also because they wanted to hire Tobin Bell because nobody was going to go and see a Saw movie that didn't have anything to do with Jigsaw, they reuse a lot of footage from previous films, and B, so many flashbacks. Like at certain points in these films, you're like 3 flashbacks deep, and it's just annoying more than it is anything else. So those are sort of the complaints that I have with the film, is the ways in which they constantly feel a need to top themselves. Leads to just, ironically, rehashing all the same shit that they've already done. And the cinematography of the films is also certainly something. The first film was, I don't want to call it indie, but it was very low budget. Hence the fact that almost the entire thing takes place in a shitty, decrepit bathroom, because that was the set that they could build. Oof, not quite. Yeah, this person hates coffee. I need to kill them. But yeah, so you wind up just going over all the same shit that you've done in the Saw films before and shooting it in the exact same way. We briefly mentioned earlier the spinny camera. They love the spinny camera. They do it first when you see Amanda in the first film in the reverse bear trap, and it's a very cool scene. I like it a lot.
It's cool exactly once.
It's cool exactly once. And then they do a couple more, and then they do at least one in every film. And it's just really just ran right into me, huh? It's just really... The one that sticks out to me the most is in 5, in the last room. I talked to Sam about this before. In 5, in the last room, there's this big, long trough where they gotta put their hands up against the circular saws to get out enough blood. And it's long enough for 5 people to be there. It's a big, long fucking rectangular thing. And they try and do the spinny shot over it. You cannot do a spinny shot over it because you can't... The camera's far enough away that you can't see the actors. It is not shaped properly to be spinny shotted. It just looks like ass, but you know that they're only doing it because they want to call back to the first film. It's so bizarre. Just everything in these films, so bizarre. Okay, so people are like getting their traps off, and I'm not doing shit all about it.
You're just too busy talking about Saw to play Saw.
Too busy talking about Saw. Sprint burst. But yeah. In summation. But the mainline 7 Saw films If your taste is similar to mine, I will append this caveat. If your taste is similar to mine, the first 3 are good. 6 is worth watching, but if you don't watch the rest of them, you're not really going to know what's going on. So you have to sort of juggle whether that's worth it in your head. Ultimately, I would say it doesn't really matter. 7 is really bad, but in a fun way that the other bad Saw films aren't. Another thing that I meant to mention is the just... They love referencing the other Saw movies so much. They really, really do. Yep. Where'd you go? There's scratch marks here. You sprinted off somewhere. Oh well. Pick the gen so I can get some use out of surveillance. I haven't been doing that. But, you know, they love referencing the previous films. They will do anything to get a reference to the previous films. So much so that many of the Saw films end just the exact same way the first one did, with somebody closing a door on somebody multiple times in the same bathroom as Saw 1 and saying, "Game over." I would try and count how many times they did that, but that would require me thinking about the plots of all of the Saw movies again. It's just, it's such... It's really something.
It could have been so much better.
Could have. It could have been so much better if they had made Saw 3 and then stopped there. And it also could have been so much better if Saw 1 had a bigger budget, because I think that was... Saw 1 is the only one that was directed by the duo that directed Saw 1. The rest of them, they swapped around directors a ton. Like, if you look at the Wikipedia page, they have a chart to show who directed and who edited each of the films, because it's that confusing. Broadly speaking, I will say blame Darren Lynn Bozeman for everything that is wrong with the Saw franchise.
Fuck you, that guy.
Eat ass, DLB. Yeah. And then there's the 2 newish ones. Jigsaw and Spiral. I think I can actually successfully... I think I can actually successfully recount these 2 with little issue. So in Jigsaw, people are talking about a jigsaw trap that occurred way before the first ones. Meanwhile, some bodies start popping up, and we see the saw trap that these bodies come from. Wink. And there are some interesting traps, but they're not very good. There's one that they legitimately just lifted from Saw 5. The people are being pulled back against the wall into some saws by chains around their heads. And it's different in that instead of walking across the room to get keys, they have to make a sort of blood sacrifice. They have to cut themselves on the saws just a little bit in order to get out without being decapitated. But straight up the whole aesthetic of that trap, they just lifted from Saw 5. And whatever. And so there's a police forensics doctor type guy. And they're like, oh, he's he's a suspect, and his forensics apprentice is super into Jigsaw. She follows a bunch of like dark web Jigsaw forums or whatever the fuck, where people talk about Jigsaw and they make replicas of the Jigsaw traps and stuff like that. Yeah, and so she's a suspect as well. And blah, 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 footnotes version, the trap that we've been seeing is actually that first Jigsaw trap. So when we see Jigsaw at the end of the movie, because they keep teasing ways that Jigsaw has, like, come back from the dead, like they go to his grave, and instead of being in there, a suspect from the case is in there. And the clips of his voice that they're finding in the tapes from the scene are, like, exact to Jigsaw's actual voice and all that. Eventually, the forensics guy figures out that they should all be suspicious of the police commissioner, because he's been secretly doing things to throw the case. There's one that I think, Sam, you would appreciate for its gun nerdery, in which so basically at the beginning of the movie, the guy starts the suspect who winds up dead later. He starts the trap. Everybody's like, the police are chasing him. He gets up onto a roof. He holds this button like a remote trigger for a bomb. And everybody's like, "Oh, shoot the thing out of his hand. Don't kill him, though. We need to talk to him." And then everybody fires at him, and one of the bullets doesn't hit him in the hand. It hits him in the chest. And so it's all like, one of the big mysteries of the film is, who shot him in the chest. They were clearly trying to stop him from talking. Because he goes into like a coma after that. And they're like, there's one scene where the forensics guy has the body of the dude after he winds up mysteriously in the grave of Jigsaw. They've got the body, they're doing an autopsy. And the forensics guy is like, "So, what guns do you all use?" And the officer that he's talking to is like, "We all use Glock whatevers, except for the police commissioner dude. He uses a Glock different number that fires a different cartridge." And he pulls the bullet out of the body, and it's a bullet of that caliber. And they're like, "Oh, well, it's him then." And they go to his house. They find some evidence in his house. And it's a whole thing. And then basically, surprise, surprise, at the end, the bodies that we've been seeing have been from the forensics guy recreating that first trap, because he was one of the people in the first trap. The footage that we've been seeing is actually from that trap, but the bodies that we've been finding have been from a recreation of it. And he's been planting evidence on his assistant, because she's big into Jigsaw. He's been planting evidence on the police commissioner, so much so that he pulls the actual bullet that was fired into the guy out of the guy's body, and then swaps it out with a bullet from the commissioner's gun, because it was him who shot the guy. He was on a roof a while away with a sniper rifle. It's so dumb. It is dumbest film I've seen. I don't know why I'm coming back up here and checking this generator. I'll know if they've touched it. But yeah, very dumb film. At the end, it's revealed, "Oh, I was in that trap, and Jigsaw felt sorry for me because I was only in there by mistake." Well, he wasn't in there by mistake. He was in the trap because of a mistake that he made. Everybody in that trap was, in one way or another, involved in Jigsaw's cancer getting mistreated. the police forensic doctor type dude was in there because of him accidentally switching the names on 2 x-rays, so Jigsaw's cancer didn't get diagnosed as quickly as it could have. And so Jigsaw felt bad about putting him in the trap in the first place, and whatever. You know, whatever. And so he rehabilitates him, and that doctor guy helps out with all the other traps and etc. Hello, welcome to the stream. We're talking about Saw a lot. Way too much, as a matter of fact. But yeah, so that's the movie Jigsaw. There's also a bit at the end where the police commissioner guy gets killed in a trap, because the reason that the guy was pinning the whole trap on him was to lure him to the place where the trap was happening so that he could put him in a different trap where the whole thing is that he's a crooked cop. And so there's like a big fake out, and then there's a really bad CGI effect where his head gets split open by lasers. One of my favorite sagas, but in my opinion it should have ended. That's what I am saying. My personal opinion is that Saws 1, 2, and 3 are legitimately quite good. Saw 6 is also pretty good. Saw 7 is worth watching. The laser trap was the best of that movie. I mean, it's a cool trap idea. I'm just complaining about the effect. I don't think it looks very good. But I agree that it is the best trap in the film. And I was about to talk about Spiral. Spiral, I have mixed feelings on. Chris Rock plays the main character, and that is a wild choice. Haven't seen it yet? Ooh, should I avoid spoilers? You'll have to let me know, because I could... Ah, okay. So Chris Rock plays the main character. He's a detective type. There's a weird sort of anachronism in the film where it takes place in the modern day. Like, there's iPads and iPhones and modern cars and all that. But it's styled like it's supposed to take place in the early 90s. It's really weird. Anyway, so he's a detective who got snubbed for being made the head of his department or whatever. He gets assigned to a new partner to investigate a rash of Jigsaw killings that have been targeting cops specifically. There are some interesting traps in this film. The first one is kind of silly. There's a guy in a subway tunnel, sort of up on a ladder with his tongue in a vice. He has to jump down off of the ladder to tear his tongue out in order to not get hit by the A train. And because his whole thing is that he uses the fact that he's a cop to testify in court and give false evidence in order to imprison people. And it's like, it's weirdly a film about, like, police brutality, but it's like somehow both heavy-handed and also kind of tasteless. And it's weird. But the ending scene is cool. And genuinely, I think Spiral might be worth watching for some people, so I'm going to avoid spoiling, like, the whole thing. But I will say, weird movie. Chris Rock as a choice for the lead actor in a drama is strange. There are comedy scenes, and Chris Rock is good in those, because he's funny. And then there are scenes that are supposed to be very dramatic, and Chris Rock simply cannot sell it. Um, but yeah, I would advise that you check out Spiral at least. It's pretty neat. Um, yeah, and so that's my thoughts on all the Saw movies, except for the bit that you weren't here to listen to, where my thoughts on the Saw movies were, hey, isn't it weird that they made 3 movies that were kind of good, and then they just kept making them, and they slowly got worse. Um,
Now, this is ultimately insignificant, but there was the thing you told me this morning about the announcement.
oh, right. Didn't go to the theater to watch it because of the pandemic. That is a smart decision. I watched it totally legally on my phone. Um, but in April of this year, there was an announcement about a potential Saw 10. Um, like, it was kind of a leak, but it was also kind of official. I don't know. I got this information from the Wikipedia page, and it didn't go into great detail. Uh, but there was an announcement in April about a Saw 10, and apparently it surprised the director and the editors and the cast that it was announced, because it's a very, very early announcement. The film isn't really even being worked on that much yet. And I'm going to replace this with Surge. And like, they, uh, fuck, what was I saying? What I love is that there was a movie almost every year. Yeah, they were pumping them out on a yearly schedule. I have the dates here. 2004 for the original, and then 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, and 2010. And then a 7-year gap, and then Jigsaw in 2017, and then another big gap of how many? Another 4-year gap, and then Spiral. But yeah, they were. The reason for that is actually because after the first film, the directors were like, "We already have an idea for a sequel," and the producers saw the massive box office success from the first film, and they were like, immediately greenlit. Yeah, yeah. If Saw 7 had been like a 4D film for 4D theaters, you get splattered with blood when they do, and yeah, I'm not sure. I think the series' popularity was already starting to wane by that point. Um, but yeah, the reason that they were making a film every year is because the sequels kept getting just immediately greenlit. Like, the producers would just wait to see what the box office number was, and if there were enough digits, they would be like, "Yeah, you can have another one." Um, I presume that is also why they changed directors so much. Um, but yeah. Uh, Third movie fan service because of the way that they upped the brutality. Yeah, that is sort of the start of a lot of the traps in that one are just like weird, and it is sort of the start of them creeping up the thing, because before that you've got, like, what all traps do you have? You have, oh, motherfuckers sending me to Haddonfield. Before that, the most brutal trap probably was the 1 and 2, the sort of Venus flytrap death mask thing. Um, and then after that, you get like a maze where you're being blasted by hot steam and stepping on heating elements, and uh, bullshit like that. I will say in the first film, though, there is that guy who gets slathered in like kerosene, and he has to try and unlock a safe while reading the numbers with a tea candle, and he lights himself on fire. That one was pretty fucked. But yeah, it does kind of get like that. It just gets more and more as you go on. We love Amanda. We do like Amanda. Mm. All right. So I was expecting that the talking about Saw portion of the stream, because I want to stream for longer than I normally do today, and we're approaching 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is how long my streams normally go. I was thinking that talking about the Saw films in great detail would push me over that number, and then I'd just close out the stream with however much I feel like. But we're at about where the stream would normally end, and I'm finished talking about the Saw movies. And I don't want to continue talking about the Saw movies because I've been talking for 2.5 straight hours, and if I think about Saw anymore, my brain will be completely irreparable. Hello. Because like the thing that gave me the idea to do this stream was that a while ago, a couple months ago, I binged literally every Saw movie, just one after the other, over the course of like 2 days. And I gotta say, not the smartest decision I've ever made. I forgot to put a trap on this person. I should do that. It's a shame that I forgot too, because it would be active now if I hadn't. But yeah, I just sat there watching Saw films. Did she pull herself off? Jar of Salted Lips. Extra luck. I think she did pull herself off. Wait. No, that's Feng Min. Okay. Well, trap's active now. But yeah, I just absolutely broke my brain watching all of the Saw movies in sequence like that. And I'm doing the same thing to myself by talking about them like this. And I hope that once this stream is done, the demon will be excised, and I will be free to not think about Saw. Record holder for highest grossing film franchise of all time. With Friday the 13th? There are so many Friday the 13th movies, though. How did you do that? Oh no, she's still upstairs. Oof. Okay. Whew. Insomnia? Good point. Yeah, okay. So we're not off to a stellar start.
Chat. Was that a pun?
Hmm?
I can't see chat. Was that a pun?
No.
Insomnia.
Somnia? No. That was a response to me asking them how they could possibly binge all of the Friday the 13th movies, because there are so many of them. Okay. Oh, I should have... That's a bad... I should have sat on the pallet. I wish this killer had custom chase music, though. It would be so cool if you could, if it was playing like Hello's Up, the Saw theme. While you were chasing people, that would be wicked. I'm upset that that is not the case. And then I have to sit through default Dead by Daylight chase music. Censored the TV versions? I mean, that makes sense. It's a typical thing with horror movies. Okay. Miss Claudette has gotten her trap off, and somebody has jumped off of the roof. Still sitting on the roof. Somebody somewhere. Kick this generator. Yeah, they could have vaulted any of these windows. No, they faked me out. Ass. Urgh. I've only played as a survivor against Pig once, and I didn't get trapped. Honestly, I'm kind of jealous. I'd like to see what it's like. There we go. Right, so, Nia's got her trap off as well. What do you think of the pig's changes in the PTB? I am not familiar with what her changes in the PTB are, actually. I'm playing in the base game right now, and I haven't looked at a lot of the PTB changes. I know that they changed some stuff about Plague and some stuff about Spirit. That's about all I know. So I'm not sure how I feel about Pig's changes. I will do some research, because after this match I am going to take a break to get some food. In doing so, I will do some research and get back to you on that. Okay. Uh-oh, your trap's active. Whoops. Yeah, so not a stellar showing by myself right now, but in fairness, I've been talking about Saw for most of tonight. I haven't been getting good practice. So can you blame me? Long queues, good survivors. Yeah, I try to just wait until things are released in the base before I play them. I have no interest in playing the PTB. That said, in this particular case, since they're nerfing Spirit, you do get some annoying Spirit mains in the base game who are trying to enjoy their killer a little bit more before it gets nerfed. Yeah, I had like 2 matches in a row against Spirit mains who wanted to use the last of pre-nerf Spirit. I don't think the Spirit nerf is even going to be that bad, frankly. Um, okay. If I can pester this Fengman just a little bit more, I think I might get a trap kill. Nope. Alright. Lost track of her footsteps. She's over here. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah. It is not a revolutionary opinion to say that maybe Haddonfield is a little bit survivor-sided, but hot damn if I ain't gonna say it anyway. Interesting choice. Okay. Yeah. All right. Hook you, go back and hook the Nia. Oh. All right. DS. You know what? I'll take it. You can run for a little bit.
My favorite Nintendo system.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you went to Subway? Look at, what did you get? You missed me finishing talking about the Saw movies and complaining about the thing that I did to myself that I totally could have just decided not to do. But yeah, look at. Okay, Nia's back up. Sandwich. Really? I didn't know they served those there. But yeah, after this match, I'm going to take a break and eat some food. And then I'll get back to it and play another couple matches of Dead by Daylight. I'm getting a little bit pig burnt out, so I think when I come back, I'll play a little bit of Survivor. And then I'll call that that. I want Nia. Fence. My favorite fence in the planet. I love this fence so much. Okay. Oof. The most intense focus I have had in my whole fucking life, that chase. As soon as I saw those flashlight clickies, I knew she had gotten too cocky. She was gonna fall. I'm not one to camp hooks, but said you go. Make your choice. Getting me some actual value here. No, you don't. Mm-mm. She's gonna crawl to one, but I've got her here. Thank you. Make your choice. For getting me a 3 kill in what would have been a 1 kill. Yeah. Alright. Whew. Okay. So, we're gonna have a short break while I yeah. Thank you. And you have a good whatever you're going to go and do. As for you, Dan, I will be back in a few moments after I have had food put into my body by myself. So let's get you on the BRB screen and get you some music going. Hello. I am returning to continue playing Dead by Daylight. Had most of a sandwich. Haven't moved the microphone back over to my face. There we go. I've had most of a sandwich. I'm feeling better. And we're gonna play Tap. I suck at Survivor. So it's gonna be bad. But, we'll play one or two matches here as Mr. Tap, and then we'll probably close out the stream. Okay. Alrighty. Finish the last corner of my sandwich while we're queuing up. Sandwich Bros. Exactly. You mentioned Subway, and I realized how hungry I was. I have now completed my sandwich. And all of the sustenance that I need to run from the killer and repair generator.
Does Tap look like Tap?
What?
Does Tap look like Tap?
A little. It's not as bad as Freddy and Quentin and Lori are. Tap looks enough like Tap. Danny Glover. Donald Glover's father.
Daniel.
Alrighty. Long loading time on this match for some reason. We queued up, reasonably quickly, and now we're just waiting for this. And we're out of Saw to talk about. I'd done already talked about all the Saw movies. There we are. And I'll sit here and I'll repair the generator, and nobody will show up to stop me. Fuck. Okay. So we've got a little bit of time at least. They're currently chasing... Were chasing the obsession. Downed. Turn the camera more to the right. You want to see the bird? That one?
Oh god, I died.
Oh lord. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed the bird content. Mm. Scream. A generator got completed and that hex totem lit up. I wonder what that means. I don't know what hexes do what in this video game, frankly. Oh no. Yeah, we've been stalked, friend. Oh. Well, there goes that. I will use Tap's perk to recover as I crawl along the ground directly towards my teammate. Oh, wait. That wasn't the hex totem suddenly becoming active. That was Detective's hunch. My perk. It showed me where the totem was because somebody finished a gen. That makes sense. Just gonna stand here and heal myself. Nice. That does mean that I have to leave, though. Okay. Nerd. Oh, fuck. He fucked up, but I also fucked up. Yeah, I can see that you would I can see why you might say something like that, frankly. I get it. Frankly, I do. The first Scream is legitimately a very good film. If I were in this man's shoes, I would give up the chase by now. Oof. Not quite. So I have been dead by daylight. We do. We do. It's a legitimate strategy. It is. The longer the killer spends chasing me, the less time he spends chasing my friends and stopping them from doing generators and whatnot. It's good for the economy of the game that I keep the killer distracted. And given how not great I am at Survivor, it's about the best thing I can do for my team to be the first girl, you know? That's unfortunate. Nice. Nice. I'm just gonna spectate this. I feel good about my teammates' odds. Clean the bones. Get killed by the killer. Ooh, nice. Now get killed by the killer. This guy's got a flashbang. I don't think he's used it. Well, he doesn't have a flashbang. He has the perk that lets him get one. And now he's going on the hook. Whoops. Right. I feel moderately less sure about my teammates' chances now, but I think there's still a chance that they manage this. Ots was right. Fengman does have very loud breathing. Right. I have lost interest. I'm moving on now. Oh, that's what I was gonna do, but I left my phone somewhere, so I can't do it. I was gonna look up what all the PTB changes are, so I could determine how I was feeling about what's gonna happen to Pig, but I don't. So I didn't. So I can't. Because I don't. I will bring the killer a bouquet of flowers, and they will simply smooch me instead of trying to attack me with their weapons. Yeah, last match of the night here. I'm saying the night out of habit. It's 3 p.m. Last match of the stream. Amazing strat. Yeah, that's the secret that all the rank 1 survivors don't want to tell you. But yeah, last match of the day, this one, because honestly, talking about Saw that much has genuinely taken a lot out of me. And now the demon has been excised, and I can rest easy and not have to think about Detective Hoffman ever again. I understand what you mean. Yeah, I get it. Also, in regards to what you said earlier, I think it is astounding for a movie made in the 80s how much fucking what's his name? Billy, it's not Billy Loomis, is it? That's from a different thing. Unless it is Billy Loomis. The motherfucker from Scream 1. It is astounding how much he looks like a TikTok pretty boy, given that that was a movie made in the 80s. Whichever one isn't played by Matthew Lillard. Because Matthew Lillard just looks like Matthew Lillard. I look at that man and it's just Shaggy. That's all I can see. Oh shit. It's Spirit. Do that, yeah. It's... Oh fuck, no. He's named Billy Loomis in reference... It's a reference to the original Halloween. That's why he's called that. That's the other Loomis I was thinking of. I was thinking of Dr. Loomis. He does, right? Like he's got the middle part and the fucking cheekbones. He looks like a TikTok pretty boy. It's crazy. Yeah, it's vivid. Oh, I need a pallet. I need a pallet like right now. She's like right on top of me. Or maybe she lost me. I don't know. This man gate keeps Lil P. You're so brave and you're so correct. Yet another film that I would legitimately recommend watching is the first Scream movie. It's just a ton of fun. Does she have agitation? That oh, you motherfucker. Oh, I didn't instantly win the video game. This is bullshit. I'm gonna disconnect. Ooh, piece of shit. Unless that was just a legitimate DC, in which case, whoops. Sorry for being an asshole about it. But it really seemed like he disconnected in response to our friend getting hooked there. Is Bill gonna go for that? Because I'm not close enough. If I run over there now, I'm not gonna make it. Okay, yeah. Oh shit. This gen is like ready to fucking go. Done. Easy peasy. Give me a good item. Yeah. Here. Fuck. That's no good. Spirit's gonna hook over here. Drop that. Come over here. Oh, he's dead. And she's gone. So I finish unlocking this. Grab purple quality toolbox. That's what you like to see. And there you go when I work on exit gate. Yeah. Tap's model in the game, it looks enough like Danny Glover, and he also does have a scar on his neck. It's of what happened in the film, which is good. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no. I'm opening it. I'm not opening it. I'm getting it the rest of the way for my friend. And then I'm getting hooked, and then he comes and he opens it, and then he gets me off the hook, and it's perfect. And it's good. Unless she just wants to stand there and look at it. No camping, please. Yeah. You're good, friend. No. Go do the gate first. Go do the gate first. It's not all the way 99. No. Okay. So a decent match to close out the night. Mm-mm-mm. What do you mean unlocks the sabotage action? You can sabotage with any toolbox. What? Weird. Anyway, that's been a stream where I talked about Saw too much. Yeah, I had a good time. I really enjoy Pig. Tap has good perks. Yeah. Let's just take a look at Miss Pig. Mrs. Amanda Young. Good good stuff. Okay. Yeah, my brain has been turned into mush by talking about a mediocre horror franchise for far too long. So, I am going to call the stream. This has been a stream. I have been a streamer. If you're watching this live and you haven't already, hit the follow button. If you're watching this as a VOD on my Twitch page, hit the follow button there. If you're watching this as a VOD on the VOD channel on YouTube, my Twitch is automatically linked in the description. You should go and click on that and then click the follow button here. If you're on my Twitch page and you would like to go and see the VOD channel, you can do that. It's in my About section. It's linked in my About section. I upload the VODs for pretty much every stream there. There are just some of them that there are reasons why I can't upload VODs of them, and so I don't upload those ones. But otherwise, yeah. Yeah, if you know of anybody who would enjoy the stream, let them know. Word of mouth is the best form of advertisement, and every little bit helps. And that's about it, actually. That's about all I've got to say, other than the schedule that is currently on the stream. This one here on the About page and in my actual Twitch page, where it's got a schedule listed. That's really just a suggestion. I'm shifting things around with my current streaming schedule. Probably more towards streaming earlier in the day, just sort of in general. And I will be streaming on days other than the ones listed, but I just won't be doing it with any sort of consistent timing. So that's an important update to note. But other than that, that's about it. So yeah, thank you for tuning in if you tuned in, and yeah, maybe come and see the next one, or maybe don't. It's up to you. I would see the next one if I were me. Well, of course I would see the next one if I were me, because I'm going to be there. I would see the next one if I were you. But if you're busy, then probably don't do that. Or, if you just don't feel like it. Or, if something comes up midway through